You're staring at your phone at 2 a.m., running through the mental checklist of everything falling apart: the career burnout, the bills stacking up, or the quiet fear that you're somehow falling behind in life. You pray, or at least you try to, and the room just feels completely empty. No sign, no clarity, just total silence. Welcome back to Ruth and Remnant, a space for women who want a real deep connection with God without feeling like you need to have your whole life figured out first. If you've ever looked up and wondered, does God actually care about my life? Why isn't He saying anything right now? Give yourself some credit, because remaining prayerful through what feels like radio silence takes real faith. And this is what surprises most people. The women in the Bible were not sitting in serene prayer gardens. They were living through the exact same overwhelming pressure you might be feeling right now, and discovered that God was actually moving behind the scenes the entire time. The period in which Ruth lived was an era of massive economic and social collapse. Famine hit the region, prices went through the roof. Everyday people were just struggling to survive. Now, here's where things get interesting. In this ancient world, women were entirely cut off from independence. They could not hold jobs, build their own savings, or own property. A woman's basic physical survival was completely tied to the men in her house. And then the absolute worst case scenario hits. Ruth's mother-in-law, Naomi, loses her husband, and shortly after that, both of her adult sons die too, one of which is Ruth's husband. In an instant, three women, Naomi and her two daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah, are left completely destitute, grieving, and forced to figure out how to survive in a world that was not built for them. Staring at the ruins of her family, Naomi decides she has nothing left to fight for. She prepares to walk back home alone and tells her daughters-in-law, "Go back to your families. My life is completely broken. I feel like God is against me, and I can't give you a future." I want you to pause and feel the weight of that moment. Imagine standing on a dusty dirt road, looking into the eyes of a woman who has completely given up on life, knowing that if you follow her, you are walking straight into poverty, judgment, and isolation. One daughter-in-law takes a sensible route and turns back. You can't blame her. But then everything changed. Ruth, a woman who did not grow up in church, who was a complete outsider, looks at Naomi's broken heart and makes a choice that breaks all logic. She wraps her arms around this bitter, grieving woman and says, "Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." That wasn't a cute line for a greeting card. That was a serious commitment to ride through the absolute worst of it, even when there was zero backup plan. They dragged themselves into the town of Bethlehem, exhausted, covered in dust, and completely out of options. Naomi's grief is so heavy that when her old friends run out to greet her, she can't even bear to hear her own name. She tells them, "Don't call me Naomi anymore. Call me Mara," which literally means bitter. She looks them in the eye and says, "The Almighty has made my life miserable." And if you're waiting for God to thunder down from the clouds and defend Himself while she speaks, listen closely. He says nothing. No booming voice, no quick fix, just heavy, aching silence. But here's where things get interesting. Ruth doesn't wait for Naomi's depression to lift before taking action. She doesn't wait for a sign or a dream or a sudden emotional shift. She swallows her pride, grabs a rough canvas sack, and steps out into the blistering sun to do the lowest, most humbling work available to a woman, gleaning. Back then, farmers were required to leave the unharvested stalks of grain in the dirt so the poorest people in society could pick up the scraps. It was hot, back-breaking, humiliating labor. It was scary for a woman standing alone in a field of strangers. Ruth wiped the tears off her face and stepped straight into the dust anyway. I want to highlight a pivotal moment in the story. The passage slips in an easily missed phrase. Ruth went out to work and happened to end up in a field owned by a kind, honorable man named Boaz. Did you catch that? Happened to end up. To anyone passing by, it looked like pure luck. A young woman without a penny to fall back on, gathering leftover grain in a random field, simply trying to make it to tomorrow. But that small detail changes everything. What appeared to be an ordinary, desperate day was actually God working behind the scenes, arranging provision and purpose when Ruth could not see his hand yet. God wasn't making noise in the sky because he was actively weaving a future through the brave, quiet steps of a woman who refused to let grief erase her. If you're going through this right now, I need you to know that you are not alone. In a world that constantly tells you to hustle harder, fix yourself instantly, and keep up appearances, the quiet seasons feel like failure. When you're carrying the weight of a household, a job that drains you, or a prayer you've prayed 100 times that still hasn't been answered, it's easy to feel like God has walked out on you. This is where most people get it wrong. We mistake God's silence for his absence. The story of Ruth was written down and preserved for centuries so that on your hardest nights, you would know that God does his most exquisite work when the room is silent. He doesn't always part the waters or send a dramatic miracle. Sometimes, just sometimes, his presence looks like giving you just enough breath to get out of bed, put your shoes on, and take one small step forward when your heart is breaking. A relationship with God isn't built on having all the right religious answers or pretending everything is okay. It grows when you come to him honestly, messy, weary, and real, and trust him to guide you one step at a time. When you're facing a career reset, navigating a hard relationship, or trying to rebuild your confidence from scratch, you don't need a voice from the sky. You just need the courage to glean, to do the simple, faithful thing right in front of you, sending that one application, setting that healthy boundary, choosing to rest without guilt. And here's the reality. Ruth's restoration did not begin with a miracle everyone could see. God did not fix Ruth's life in a single dramatic moment. He rebuilt her entire future through small daily choices, moving behind the scenes through a love that refused to fold under pressure. Your silent season is not empty. It is the soil where your legacy is taking root. So, if you're standing in your own quiet field today, feeling exhausted and unsure of what comes next, keep walking, keep showing up for yourself and for the people you love. Because when God is silent, it never means God is gone. He's working behind the scenes for you right now. We'll leave it there for today. If this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with a friend who needs the reassurance that God still has his eyes on her. Remember, you are deeply valued, and just like Ruth, every step of faith quietly builds a foundation for what comes next. See you next time.